You just said no to a family request. It was a small thing, a polite no, and now your chest is tight. Your mind is replaying the conversation, imagining their disappointment, and you already feel like the bad guy. That guilt is not a sign that you did something wrong. It is a sign that an old survival program just activated in your brain, a program built long before you could even form a complete sentence. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly where that guilt comes from, why it lies to you, and how to stop letting it run the show. That guilt you feel is not actually about love or loyalty. It is about fear, pure and simple. Your brain has one job: keep you safe. And for most of human history, being rejected by your family was a death sentence. You needed them for food, shelter, and protection. So your brain built a super-sensitive alarm system that goes off anytime you do something that could risk that bond. When you set a boundary, your brain does not see a healthy limit. It sees you standing alone on a savanna, and it says danger. That tight chest and that rushing guilt are the alarm bells. Your body is reacting to a perceived threat to your survival, even though you are not actually in any danger. The guilt feels so convincing because it is not a philosophical idea. It is a biological reflex. And just like any reflex, you can learn to recognize it without obeying it. The first step is simply knowing that the guilt is not a moral compass. It is an old safety signal from a brain that does not realize you are no longer a child who needs to please everyone to survive. There is another reason the guilt feels so strong. Your brain has been trained to get a reward every time you say yes. When you agree to a family request, even a draining one, you get a shot of relief and a feeling of safety. Your brain says, "Good, the threat is gone. You are accepted. You belong." This is a simple cause and effect loop. You say yes, you feel calm. You say no, you feel guilt. Over years, that loop gets deeper and deeper, like a path worn into a forest. Your brain now expects the reward after compliance. So when you set a boundary, you are breaking the pattern. The guilt is the withdrawal symptom, the absence of that expected reward. It is the same mechanism that makes you feel uneasy when a routine gets disrupted. Think about the last time you canceled a weekly family dinner. Even if you were exhausted, you probably felt a wave of guilt almost instantly. That was your brain complaining that the reward of harmony was not coming. The biggest lie in that moment is that you caused harm by taking care of yourself. You did not. You simply interrupted a habit. And habits, even bad ones, feel uncomfortable to break. The guilt is also powered by invisible rules that were written long before you were born. Every family has a silent contract, a list of unwritten expectations. You should call every Sunday. You should come for every holiday. You should never say no to a favor. You should put family first, even if it hurts you. You absorbed these rules not through lectures but through thousands of small moments. You saw your mom guilt into attending an event she hated. You heard your dad say, "We don't say no to your aunt." You learned that love and obligation are the same thing. So when you set a boundary now, you are not just saying no to a request. You are violating a deeply held rule that feels like the foundation of your relationship. The guilt comes from the sensation that you are breaking a sacred agreement. But here is the truth. These rules were made for a time and a family system that may not actually serve you or your relationships anymore. The guilt is not telling you that you are bad. It is telling you that you are going against the old code. And changing the code, even for the better, always feels like betrayal at first. Here is a hard one. The guilt might stay because a part of you still believes your role in the family is to keep everyone else comfortable. Maybe you were the peacemaker growing up. Maybe you were the one who soothed your parents' arguments or protected your younger siblings from stress. You learned early that your value came from managing other people's feelings. So now, as an adult, when you set a boundary, you feel like you are abandoning that role. The guilt is the ghost of that younger you, saying your job is to fix everything. But that role was never yours to carry. It was a survival strategy you adopted as a child, and it worked back then. But you are not a child anymore. Your job today is not to absorb the discomfort of others. Your job is to take care of the person you are actually responsible for, which is you. Every time the guilt shows up, ask yourself one thing. Am I feeling guilty because I did something wrong, or am I feeling guilty because I am not doing the job I was assigned as a kid? The answer will almost always be the second one. Your brain can learn a new pattern, but it will not happen overnight. Every time you set a boundary and survive, you are teaching your brain a new lesson. The first few times, the guilt will scream loud. The anxiety will feel overwhelming. But each time you hold the boundary and nothing catastrophic happens, the lesson gets a little bit stronger. Your brain starts to learn that rejection is not death. That discomfort is not danger. That you can say no and still be loved. This is not about forcing yourself to feel nothing. It is about noticing the guilt, acknowledging it, and then asking you can call them tomorrow, but tonight I need rest. And then doing it anyway. Over time, the guilt gets quieter. The alarm system gets recalibrated. The old path in the forest gets overgrown, and a new, healthier path forms. You are not betraying your family by setting a boundary. You are teaching them and yourself a more honest way to love. One where you get to be a whole person, not just a role. So here is the reframe. The guilt you feel is not proof that you are selfish. It is proof that you are growing beyond an old pattern that no longer fits. It is the growing pain of becoming someone who can love without losing themselves. Your brain can learn this. It just needs practice and patience. And if you want a tool to help you train that new pathway, our free app is built for exactly this. Think of it as your second brain, a place to practice boundaries, replay new thoughts, and quiet that old alarm system when it fires. Link is in the description. No pressure, just an option for when you are ready to make the guilt a little quieter and your voice a little louder.